The ratings are in for Saturday's episode of AEW Collision on TNT. The show has taken a beating going head-to-head with the Royal Rumble Premium Live event. Speaking of ratings, we've got the ratings for the post-Royal Rumble episode of Monday Night Raw, delivering huge total viewership and big 18-49 numbers. The new commentary team for SmackDown has been revealed now that Pat McAfee has joined Michael Cole on Monday Night Raw. Drew McIntyre continues to mock CM Punk's torn triceps injury on social media. With everything that's happened in the last couple of days on the WWE side of things, WrestleMania 40, the card for the show has undergone several changes. We'll let you know about that. The finals for the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic have now been revealed, and Ridge Holland is attacked on NXT last night. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. Let's start off talking about the ratings for AEW Collision this past Saturday night. As it went head-to-head with the Royal Rumble, many were expecting the ratings to drop. Certainly, the question was going to be, how bad were they going to drop? Well, over the last month, AEW Collision has faced some of its toughest competition to date in the form of the NFL playoffs, with the show's ratings holding actually up surprisingly well. But fortunes took a turn for the worst with Collision this past Saturday as they went toe-to-toe with one of the biggest wrestling events of the year in WWE's Royal Rumble Premium Live event. Now, WrestleNomics is reporting that Saturday's Collision drew 300,000 total viewers and a 0.06 in the coveted 18-49 demographic. Now, the numbers represent a steep decline in both categories from the previous week, with the total viewership dropping a whopping 32% from the 441,000 viewers of last week, while the 18-49 was down 50% from last week's 0.12. Saturday's episode was the lowest audience Collision has ever drawn in the 18-49 and in total viewership on Saturday night, though the November 17 episode of Collision, which was preempted to Friday, remains the lowest viewed episode in total viewership, drawing 270,000, but as I mentioned, this is the lowest in its regular normal time slot. Now, when it comes to the quarter-hour ratings, of course, these come courtesy of WrestleNomics. Shout out to them. Be sure to subscribe to their Patreon and check out their website. Now, against the Royal Rumble, for all of its 2-hour runtime, Collision never really got out of the gate, drawing 343,000 total viewers and a 0.08 in the 18-49 in quarter hour one, which wound up being the show's high point. After remaining in the 300,000 range for the first hour, the show dipped into the 260,000-270,000 range for quarter hours 6, 7, and 8 in hour 2, with quarter hour 7 drawing a show low of 264,000 viewers. Meanwhile, the 18-49 remained low but steady, drawing a 0.06 for 5 of the 8 quarter hours. The exceptions were quarter hours 1 and 2 at a 0.08 and quarter hour 6 drawing a show low of a 0.05. Collision was headlined by Daniel Garcia and FTR taking on the House of Black in an Escape the Cage elimination match, with Garcia and FTR winning following an assist from Mark Briscoe. The show also featured Bryan Danielson facing Yuji Nagata and Serena Deeb's first match in over a year. So what are your thoughts on the ratings for Saturday's episode? Did you expect it to be this bad? Did you expect it to be worse? Did you expect it to be better? Let me know your reaction, as always, in the comment section below. Speaking of ratings, let's talk about the ratings for this past Monday's episode of Raw, of course it being the Royal Rumble post-show. In addition to that, several big headlines and news prior to the show about CM Punk's injuries, changes to the WrestleMania card, etc. It was a big show, and certainly the ratings for the show have reflected that. Now, heading into Monday's episode of Raw, WWE is having a roller coaster of a week, complete with several positives, such as the huge deal with Netflix and successful Royal Rumble Premium Live event. It also includes several large and very public negatives, such as Vince McMahon resigning Friday following a lawsuit alleging that he engaged in sex abuse and trafficking, and Triple H's polarizing response to the lawsuit at the post-Royal Rumble press conference as well. In the end, all the attention, good, bad, or indifferent, possibly may have helped Monday Night Raw draw one of their best numbers of the year. WrestleNomics is reporting that Monday's episode of Raw drew 1.909 million total viewers and a 0.61 in the ever-important 18-49 demographic. Now, as expected, the numbers are well up from last week's episode, with total viewership increasing 13% from last week's 1.686 million, while the 18-49 was up 11% from a 0.55. Both numbers represent the best Raw has done in a while in either category, with Monday serving as the best 18 to 49 number since November 27, while total viewership drew its best number since June 26 of last year. That's right, close to 6 months since WWE had that kind of a number for Monday Night Raw. Now, when it comes to the quarter hours, as always, this comes courtesy of WrestleMania. Shout out them, be sure to subscribe to their Patreon. Now, with all eyes were on Raw Monday following the Rumble and the controversy, the show largely followed the trend of most Raw, starting off hot with 2.013 million viewers and a 0.64 in the 18-49 demographic for CM Punk's show opening promo. The show gained steam from there, drawing 2.165 and 2.183 million viewers in quarter hours 2 and 3 respectively, while the 18-49 rose up to a 0.71 and 0.70. After a brief fall in quarter hour 4, the show would peak in quarter hour 5 when a promo segment featuring Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes drew 2.197 million and a whopping 0.73 in the 18-49. Following that segment, however, Raw entered into a bit of a tailspin, falling below 2 million viewers for the rest of the show. The low point would occur in quarter hour 10, when the show drew 1.635 million and a 0.52 in the 18-49, losing over 500,000 total viewers and 271,000 in the 18-49 from the show's peak. Raw would ultimately close with 1.672 million and a 0.53 for the main event, featuring Drew McIntyre against Sami Zayn. What are your thoughts on those numbers? Is that what you expected? Is that better than you expected? And what do you think this means when it comes to the things that are hitting and the things that aren't hitting as we head into WrestleMania? Let me know your thoughts about that as well. Now, we've got an update when it comes to the commentary team for Friday Night SmackDown. It was revealed on Raw this week that Michael Cole and Pat McAfee will be the commentary team on Monday nights going forward, with the former NFL player replacing Wade Barrett. According to PW Insider, Barrett will now move to SmackDown and work alongside Corey Graves. It said that Graves will become the lead play-by-play announcer for the show, while Barrett will be the color commentator. The changes have been made following the release of former SmackDown lead announcer Kevin Patrick last week. Patrick initially joined WWE as a backstage correspondent, but later moved to the announce booth calling Raw and later SmackDown. However, the Irish-born commentator had been under the microscope as the lead announcer on SmackDown, with WWE reportedly deciding it just wasn't working out for him. Despite being assigned the role of leading the commentary team on SmackDown, there were some behind the curtain who allegedly believed that Patrick wasn't suited for the role. Meanwhile, Cole and McAfee are reunited behind the desk after appearing together on SmackDown between 2021 and 2022. In a past interview, Cole mentioned working with McAfee had reinvigorated his love for the business. McAfee returned to WWE this past Saturday at the Royal Rumble, joining Cole and Graves at the commentary table. He also briefly entered the men's Royal Rumble match as entrant number 22. For Barrett and Graves, it will be the first time the duo has worked together at the announce desk in WWE. Barrett previously worked as a color commentator with Cole and Patrick, respectively, on WWE's main roster. It will be the first time that Corey Graves will be doing play-by-play. What are your thoughts on this commentary team? Do you think Corey Graves is going to fit the play-by-play voice? Is that going to work for him? Let me know how you think that one is going to go. Now, Drew McIntyre faced off against CM Punk on Monday Night Raw, saying he prayed for his injury and he was vindicated now that Punk is missing WrestleMania, and he's continued to throw salt into CM Punk's wound. CM Punk's WrestleMania hopes went up in smoke this past Saturday at the Royal Rumble, where he suffered a torn triceps in his right arm. The injury is expected to keep him out of action for at least 4 months, and no one appears to be happier about Punk's misfortune than Drew McIntyre, who caused Punk's injury while hitting him with a Future Shock DDT. After rubbing salt into the wound on Raw when confronting Punk, McIntyre continued the mockery on social media yesterday. The former WWE champion posted a photo of his head superimposed onto the body of actor Grant Gustin, posing over a grave which read CM Punk's WrestleMania main event 2024 to 2024. While it wasn't confirmed that Punk would be in a main event match for WrestleMania 40 prior to his injury, it was expected by many that he would be challenging Seth Rollins for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship on one of WrestleMania's 2 nights. Even after suffering the injury, Punk got close to securing a match with Rollins or one of the undisputed Universal Champion Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble, lasting until the end before being eliminated by the eventual winner Cody Rhodes. Despite also being unsuccessful in the Rumble, injuring Punk serves as a feather in the cap for McIntyre, who hasn't been shy about calling out Punk ever since he returned to WWE at Survivor Series last year. It also opened up room for McIntyre to perhaps get one more shot against Rollins after previously coming up short twice when challenging the Architect for the World Heavyweight Championship. Of course, Punk's injury and a myriad of other issues have caused a lot of changes to the planned WrestleMania 40 card, and this has been evident with some of the reporting this week. WWE has had plenty of bad news recently, and plans for its biggest show of the year, WrestleMania 40, are suffering because of it. Before last week, all signs were pointing to a massive WrestleMania featuring the likes of Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns, CM Punk versus Seth Rollins, and Brock Lesnar versus Gunther. However, at least two of those matches are no longer happening, and it sounds like that fact is going to affect plenty of other planned matches as well. The first issue arose on January 25 when a lawsuit was filed accusing Vince McMahon of sexual trafficking, abuse, and more. Throughout the lawsuit, there were also several unnamed parties, including one who was referred to as a WWE superstar involved in the alleged situation. And whilst his name was never actually officially named in it, it's very important to express that Brock Lesnar was at no point named in the lawsuit, but the Wall Street Journal reported that the person being referred to as WWE Superstar was Brock Lesnar. Lesnar was planned to appear in the Men's Royal Rumble match on January 27, be eliminated by Dominic Mysterio to set up a match for Elimination Chamber in February, and then go on to face Gunther at WrestleMania in early April. However, upon the lawsuit being filed, WWE pulled Lesnar out of the Rumble, and his role was instead filled by Bron Breakker. Now, it's currently unknown if Breakker will end up facing Mysterio at Elimination Chamber and Gunther at WrestleMania as Lesnar was planned to do. So that situation has put a bit of a pause for the plans for Gunther versus Lesnar. But now, of course, there's another match that's off the card as well. That match is CM Punk versus Seth Rollins. Despite Rollins suffering a knee injury a few weeks ago, he'd promised he'd wrestle at WrestleMania and the match was still looking likely. However, disaster struck during the Royal Rumble match and CM Punk suffered a torn triceps, which has put him out of action for a few months to say the least, meaning he's going to miss WrestleMania. That's two matches that WWE has been forced into changing, and it sounds like adjustments have caused a ripple effect throughout the rest of the card as well. On the Wrestling Observer radio show, Dave Meltzer said, quote, "A lot of things have changed in the last between Punk injury, Lesnar being out. I was told even before the Punk injury, just with Lesnar being out, it's not just that Lesnar's match has changed, but it's like a domino effect that it's changed the whole card based on Lesnar being out. Whatever the original stuff was, a lot of it is changed because of Lesnar, and now again, another change because of Punk." Now, WrestleVotes tweeted out the following. They said, quote, "Between the unfortunate injury to CM Punk, the questionable status of Seth Rollins, and the pulling of Brock Lesnar, the WrestleMania card has took a sharp turn. Source said there are a number of brand new card variations on the table, including some superstars who were not pegged towards the top just days ago. I'm being told they will take their time to figure things out and consider just about everything." So certainly it looks like lots of things could be changing when it comes to the WrestleMania 40 card in the very near future. Now, this coming weekend, it's NXT Vengeance Day, and we now know the finals of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. On last night's episode of NXT, the second semi-final in the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic took place between two popular teams. Already having advanced to the final and awaiting the winner of last night's match, the team of Bron Breakker and Baron Corbin. Last night, the semi-final match featured Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes taking on the LWO's Cruz del Toro and Joaquin Wilde. While Trick Williams already has a date for Vengeance Day against Ilya Dragunov, without the Dusty Cup in storyline, there wouldn't be a match on the card for former NXT champion Carmelo Hayes. In the end, Trick Williams captured the pinfall victory, cementing the fact that he is indeed for a long night on Sunday's NXT Premium Live event. Trick Williams will pull double duty, participating in not only the Dusty Cup final with Carmelo Hayes facing Bron Breakker and Baron Corbin, but also a singles match against Ilya Dragunov for the NXT Championship. Of course, one has to wonder about the NXT future for Bron Breakker after this Sunday, as following his appearance in the Royal Rumble match, it was heavily teased on Raw that he could be headed for the main roster very soon. Finally, Ridge Holland, possibly was written off television last night on NXT. After Ridge Holland was shown backstage attempting to get Ava to give him a 3-on-1 handicap match against all members of Gallus, the new NXT general manager wouldn't budge, telling Ridge that she needed to protect him from himself. She was denying his request. However, when Lexis King joined them to deliver a gift basket to Ava full of pictures of himself and his latest merch shirt, he ended up getting a match with Ridge Holland for later on in the evening. In the end, Lexis King picked up a victory over Ridge Holland after distractions from Gallus, but the trouble for the former Brawling Brute didn't end there. Gallus waged a brutal attack on Ridge Holland, specifically using a chair to target his leg in a way that made it seem like he's going to be off television for at least a few weeks. Just like the last time, the story is that Holland has no friends in the locker room and nobody came to his aid during the attack. So possibly Ridge Holland is going to be off television for the foreseeable future. But there you go, guys. This is the latest pro wrestling news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe bottom right hand corner. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.